It is the year 2472, and the Earth has suffered a great calamity. Hundreds of years of popular culture have vanished. Without the sacred films and texts for guidance, civilization is devoid of anything cool. Then, 3 incubation chambers are unearthed, and from within, men from the time of the great blockbusters emerge. Now, through highly interesting conversations, they share invaluable insight about what once was. The movies, the shows, the comics, toys, and books. This is
The Hyperspace.
Podcasting in the 25th century.
Welcome in, podcast pioneers, to the hyperspace. Podcasting in the 25th century. The interweb's first and still only podcast. My name's Matt.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Mike.
Guys, you know what? I can't impress upon our listeners enough on what a gem Jared found today.
Oh yes.
I mean, it's almost unbelievable. I'm not saying it's quite like the Hope Diamond of finds, but it's up there.
It's close. I tell you, I was doing some work in my home theater room. Matt knows it as the Hatch.
The Hatch.
We used to watch Lost in there. But so I was moving some shelves around, and on the floor behind one of those shelves, covered in a fine layer of dust, I find an old DVD-R of some truly invaluable footage.
I can't believe you found that. We're gonna share that story about what the DVD holds. But first, guys, before we do that, what's up?
You know, we've kind of had a busy week. According, at least judging by the adventures shared on our our chain that we message each other on daily. Mike got a ride shared, I guess, through what sounded like the depths of Gotham City.
Okay, wait. Okay, so Mike, like, what does an average ride share entail? Okay, from like a start to finish.
Pick someone up, take them to their destination, and let them out.
Okay, is that what happened the other night?
Well, this past weekend was very bizarre. I'll do a quick. There was some. I don't want to say they were low points because they make great stories, and I never at any time felt like I was in any danger.
Oh, that's good.
But okay, so like the first one was strange. Was I picked up this gentleman who was extremely, extremely inebriated, and as soon as he gets in my car, he's like, "You smoke weefer?" And I'm like,
did he call it weefer?
Reefer. Sorry, I said it wrong.
Well,
and I said, no, I don't. See, I try to maintain like a, business.
You're professional.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
So I'm like, no, I don't. So he's on the phone with this girl for most of the ride. 2 girls, actually. He's a playa. And he's saying the most insane stuff. Like, he said she had a stanky ass. That was, you stanky ass. That's what he kept saying to her. And she'd laugh. Ha, 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 ha. And then he was, oh, I got another call. It's my boss. And I'm thinking, man, you don't need to be taking that call from your boss right now. So he switched over, and it wasn't his boss. It was another girl. And then he proceeded to request something from this girl. And she seemed to be okay with his phrasing and was going to comply.
Was it a request for sexual intercourse?
Yeah, but he used a specific word that is not used in polite company.
Understood.
And so then he showed me a picture of his sister, and he tried to hook me up with his sister. And I said, he goes, "Are you single?" And I said, "No, I'm not." He goes, "Oh, well, here's a picture of my sister." And I look, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, she's cute." And he goes, "Would you like to do terrible stuff to that thing?"
To his sister?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, "No, that's okay. Thanks." So now the one part I did get concerned was he wanted to take a detour from his destination. Now that was a little disconcerting because I didn't know how far, because I already have another ride lined up.
Is that common? Do people want to deviate a lot from the plan?
Not often. It's kind of a pain when they do, but it's one of those things you kind of have to roll with because they'll change their stop.
I just figured, is it a way people try to get cheap rides by saying,
no,
okay.
no, sometimes they just change their mind or they forget and they want to get something.
Yeah.
So he wanted to go to his sister. She was making him some food. So we pull into this apartment complex. And then on the way, he pulls out this massive bag of marijuana and shoves it literally under my neck, like right next to my face. And he says, "Do you want some of this?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good, thanks." So then I pull
He's a
up.
nice guy. He's a nice guy.
He was nice. He was actually
He's trying to hook you up with
Listen.
his sister. He's trying to give you gifts.
He was a nice, drunk, stoned guy.
Listen, I will tell you now, there is video of this ride that exists, and me and Matt have watched it.
So, yeah, I do keep a dash cam. So, he got out. Before he got out, he did the handshake thing where he was doing the different, and I'm like just trying to keep up and figure it out as he's doing it.
Mike, for our listeners, is a white man.
My passenger was not. But anyway, so he got out and it was fine. Like I said, it was very monumental. It was the strangest ride I could say, hands down.
Sounds like a nice guy.
Now, I did like that he kept saying on the phone, "Man, this dude that's driving me, he don't know what I'm talking about."
You lay next to me with a stinky ass.
Yeah. You got a stinky ass. So,
Oh, boy.
and she just laughing.
That guy was great. That
Yeah.
guy needs to be put on TV. That guy was great.
So then,
Okay, so then what happened?
oh, I got another one. I got three. I'll share. This next one's real short. So the second one was, I pick up this lady, an older lady,
Oh god, this one's kind of depressing.
and I put in my destination, and I just take her there. And then she said something like, I guess,
How old of a lady are we talking about?
I don't know, 60s maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
definitely 60s. White hair, not like massively overweight, but
Okay.
And so she's talking about she was in a, she didn't have anybody here right now. She didn't have any friends. And then she made the quirk. That's why I'm going here. Or something
Oh,
like
no.
that. Yeah, but I didn't know where we were going. So I just was like, okay, that's fine, I guess. So we pull into an adult bookstore.
They still have those?
Yes.
Oh, man.
It's called Rainbow Video. So I pull up and I just park and I'm like, and she goes, "Okay, I'll be right back." And so she gets up and goes in and I'm sitting there like, okay.
So you just took someone's grandma to the porn store?
And she was in there for like 10 minutes, no joke.
Man.
And so of course I'm sitting there going, and my car is right by the street. So I'm like,
You're
yeah,
like,
this would
people
be great.
are going to see me and know me.
I hope someone from my church drives by because that'd be.
What do you think she's browsing? What do you think she was into?
I don't know. She came out with a black plastic bag. Now, I will say this. The next stop I took her was a Mexican restaurant, and she didn't order ahead. So she went in and ordered. So I had to wait for this food. And she left.
Wait, hold on. So, hold on. So she stopped, picked up a bag of porn,
Yeah.
and then went to get Mexican food.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hell of a night.
Well, there was more. She went to the ATM, and then she went to the liquor store, and then I took her home.
That's a party.
So I'm sitting there in the car while she's inside, and I look and I see that plastic bag sitting in the back seat. And I have to admit, I'm like,
You were curious.
You wanted
yeah,
to
there was
look.
like, what did she get? But I didn't, because not that I wanted. It was more of like, I don't know. That
Just
sounds
morbid
creepy.
curiosity.
It sounds creepy when I say it out loud.
Did you ever at one point just want to tell her that there's something called the internet?
No, I tried to.
I mean,
I wanted
she
to stay
ordered
away
an
from
Uber.
it.
Yeah, she's
on a phone.
She's using the internet to ride with you.
I'm not saying that I know what the internet has
Look,
out there.
dude, I don't
but I'm
know.
just saying I'm pretty sure that whatever was in that shop, she could probably find
Well,
in spades
apparently
on the
she was
internet.
friends with the lady who owns it because that's why
Ah.
it took her so long. They were having a conversation.
Oh, okay. Very good.
So,
I mean, it's like a 7-Eleven, right? You just walk on down the street.
So-
You're familiar with the cashier.
Oh,
now the next one is my favorite. So it was Saturday night. It was about 10 o'clock, and I had reached my. I'm done now. I'm gonna stop. So I got one last. I always do that. I'm like I'll go like I'm done. I'll do one more to close it out.
I was getting this one in live action, by the way, as it was happening.
Yeah, that's true. So so I pull up to this. Well, first of all, I get like I said, it was lined up before I dropped off the one before. So they can send you texts through the app, but you don't get them until the ride's done. The one you're on currently. So I complete the one, and immediately comes up, "Are you on your way?" I thought, well, that seems a little obnoxious. That kind of annoyed me a little bit. So I was like, yes, I'm on my way. It was like 5 minutes away. I knew where it was. It's a place I've been to a few times. It's this really fancy country club. So I pull up, and as soon as I pull up, I send a text, "I've arrived." I don't usually do that, but I was kind of being a little bit of like obnoxious.
passive aggressive.
Yeah. So I'm waiting, and I'm like, what? And I'm like thinking, this is my last ride. What's taking this guy so long? So he comes in the car and sits down, and he's like, "Sorry, buddy." He goes, "Here you go." And he hands me a 20. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So I take the 20, I put it in my glove compartment. So he lives like literally like 5 minutes away. So he's like, "So what are you doing after, what time are you driving till?" And I said, "Well," I was going to quit about now. And he's like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, if you'll take me to my house, buddy, I'll, let me go change and then drive me out to the city. I'll make it worth your while." I went, okay. So
Everything about this ride, I'm texting him that Mike is most likely not coming home from this ride.
I pull into his house. It's a nice house, okay? So he goes, "All right, buddy, just wait on me. I'll be right back." So he gets out of the car, and I'm sitting, and I'm waiting. Now, I don't know what I was doing, but before I knew it, 45 minutes had gone by. And I can't for the life of me, I don't know if it's because I was tired, I was just listening to music, I was futzing around on my phone. But I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, God, it's like 11 o'clock. So I'm thinking, what if he like passed out? What if he's in there passed out, and I'm sitting here in his driveway? So I get out of the car. Now, I had a Star Wars t-shirt on. That's important to the story. So I knock on the door. So I'm knocking on a stranger's door at 11 o'clock at night. It's a pretty uncomfortable thing.
Sure.
Well, he comes to the door. He opens up. "Hey, buddy, sorry, I was talking to my daughter. I got lost in time. Hey, bud, I'll tell you what." And so he pulls out his wallet, and he just starts handing me 20s. And I'm just sitting there like, what the heck is going on? And he's like, "Hey, here you go, buddy. Just wait in the car, and I'll be right back. I just got to change my shoes."
At this point, I'm telling Mike, did he come to the door chewing on somebody's ear or something?
Yeah.
So I get to my car, and I sit down. And I just wait. It's probably about another 10 minutes. So he finally shows up.
Named his house.
He gets into my car, and he's like, "Hey, what kind of t-shirt you wearing there?" I said, "Oh, it's the Star Wars." "Ah, crap. I was here. I got you this. I thought you might like it." So he gives me a bottle of James T. Kirk straight bourbon whiskey, unopened. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing. I don't really drink, but this is like a great collectible. It's got like James T.
awesome
Kirk's
gift.
signature with the Starfleet insignia on it. And I'm like, and I was even like, "Man, this is awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate this." Sure, buddy, no problem.
So he's been laying 20s on
Yeah, in
you
addition
all
to the
night.
handful of 20s he handed you.
He gives you a bottle of James T. Kirk unopened bourbon.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is, and I was texting Matt. I'm like, "Matt,
It's
look
not
at-" Look at
Not a
this.
chance. I'm saying it's not his house. He took him to a stranger's house. He killed the family. He stole their bourbon.
I'm also wondering, is this man a 1930s newscaster? By the way you're talking,
I don't. He almost
Sounds like
sounded
a South Park Canadian.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Hey,
He almost
buddy.
sounded Canadian. Hey, buddy.
Hey,
So-
buddy.
So I take him to the city. The city's like, I don't know, 10 minutes away from his house. And he's on the phone with some guy, and he's talking about some business deal. And then he's like going, hey, man, I don't think it's appropriate to talk like that in front of the client. It's, I really like you, and you got a bright future, but I just don't think that's appropriate. So he's kind of getting on to whoever he's talking to.
How old is this guy, would you say?
I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge because he could have been my age. I don't know.
so between in 40s, 50s.
I'd say at least that range. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
okay.
60s, not
All right.
Okay.
30s for sure.
So under 60. I got you.
So there's this place on Gay Street. It's actually a Mexican place. It's really popular. So he's like, okay, buddy, I'm gonna go in now. If you'll sit and wait for me, I'll make it worth your while.
Oh my gosh.
At this time, by this point, I am all in. Okay.
Okay.
This I'm gonna see this all. I'm gonna see it through. So I pull up and I said, "Take your time." So he gets out of the car and he's on the phone and he's just standing on the street for a few minutes. And he comes in and goes, "Well, buddy, this place is already closed. They went to someplace else. Do you care to take me there?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I take him like literally right down the road, down like two or three blocks to this other place. He goes, "All right, buddy. Here's my number. Can you wait for me? If you make it, I'll make it worth your while." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
The rideshare number is still ticking. all
No,
the
that's
time.
gone. I'm like,
This
This
is
is
off
off the
books.
clock. Okay,
yeah,
I
this
got you.
is off the books.
I understand.
So I'm like, sure. So there was like a parking lot right across the street. I said, I'm gonna go sit in this parking lot, and when I see you come out, I'll come pick you up. And I had got his number, and he goes. So he goes in. I sit out there for like 10 or 15 minutes. Comes out. I pull up. Hey, buddy, there's another place I'd like to go to. I tell you what, I can pay you now. If you tell me what I owe you, or you can take me. I'm like, buddy, where do you need to go? So I take him like up the road to another place, park. He gets out, and this time I'm in the car for like 30 or 40 minutes. I'm in there for a while.
Wow.
He finally comes out. Now I already have his address in my car, so I can take him home. And he's like, "Well, buddy, I'm just gonna stay in my loft out here. So if you could just take me there, and then I'll be good." And he's like literally like 4 blocks away from where he just got out of the building. So I'm like, "Yeah, man, no problem." So I take him. So he's like, "So how much do I owe you now?" And I'm like, I'm a terrible negotiator. I think I could have got more than I did.
Yeah.
He's like, how much you usually make a night? And I told him, and he goes, "Okay, how about 60?" I said, well, you've already paid me 240. No, 140. Yeah, 140. I said, and he goes, "Well, how about 60?" I said, "Sure." He goes, and he seemed surprised that I didn't negotiate with him. So he goes, here's 80. We'll make it even. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, me and my friends sometimes like to go places. Would you be interested in maybe driving me again sometime? I'm like, absolutely, I would be.
What?
So he has my number. I don't know if I'll ever hear from him again.
God,
Wow.
But that
you're
was
you're lucky you didn't get chloroformed.
that was the easiest. What, $220
Yeah.
and bottle of James T. Kirk straight bourbon
That is pretty amazing.
I've ever made in my entire life. I didn't get home.
I mean, that's like a $300 value ride right there.
So basically, we started at 10, and I dropped him off at 1 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Busy night.
Like I said, man, last weekend
Good
was
grief.
different.
That's amazing.
Wow. Well, since you're doing ride shares in Gotham City, I'll talk about. I myself went to Gotham City.
Oh yeah.
I went there and saw. Well, I didn't. I saw it in Clearwater, where I live, but I saw the Batman, the new Matt Reeves.
Batman. Yes,
the Matt Reeves film, starring Robert.
No relation
Pattinson.
to Christopher.
No. And I wasn't blown away. I was blown away at aspects of it, but
Okay, so I haven't seen it.
Okay.
So give me a good high level, easy review. What do you think?
It is a well-made film. It's not, it's not garbage by any stretch of the imagination. I will probably buy it on physical media when it comes out, but nutshell, it is way too long.
Yeah.
It is 3 hours long, and I would say by the 2 hour mark, you're really feeling that time. At least I was.
3 hours is a long movie.
Yes,
I don't care what movie
and
it is.
very much cut from the same cloth as the movie Seven. So
Yeah, that's what our friend Deke said. He said it was a straight up rip off of Seven, and they
Really?
did not hide it.
no, well, it's no, they didn't really try to.
Was it also in the vein of I haven't seen the Batman yet, but was it a lot like how the Joker was more like a melodramatic kind of like
Are you talking about the movie Joker?
Yeah, Joker.
Well, yeah, it's not quite as dark as Joker, but
you know what I mean? It wasn't
Yeah.
like Joker wasn't an action movie.
no,
It was more of a
well, this one it tries to, I think, to walk the line between like the more fantastical elements and like a quote unquote serious movie like Joker. But I'm just thinking, this is not a movie for children at all. There is murdered prostitutes. There is it walks right up to the line of an R-rated film. And I'm thinking,
is it PG-13?
It is
or
PG-13. And I was thinking in the theater, like, no kid is going to like this because it's way too slow, it's boring, and it is very heavy and violent. And
I saw all the toys are being broadcast out there now.
oh, really?
For the kids.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, this isn't a case, I think, where parents are going to be turned off like they were for Batman Returns because it was a total freak show. This is a little more just straight up adult material disguised as a Batman movie. And like I said, and it's just not fun. I mean, it's just murder and violence, and it's dreary and depressing. However, it is well done. I mean, I'm sure some Batman fans are going to be totally into that because they like that aspect, that dark side of the character, and they're really going to appreciate the real-world, grounded approach to the material. I did probably for the first 90 minutes or so, and then it was just like, God, when is this over? Because Batman just terrible things keep happening to him, and it's just like, okay, I get the point. This is not it's almost like Logan in some respects. It's it just beats you into submission. And it's just like, okay, I've seen this once. I think I'm good for a long time. And
But you like the Batmobile, right?
Oh, the Batmobile scene in this movie is the best Batmobile scene in any Batman movie as far as I'm concerned. It's
how far into the movie does the Batmobile scene?
No, don't
fall?
tell us. Don't tell us that.
Okay.
Don't. Jeez. I'm just saying, like, is it give you like hope at the end of the tunnel, or like is it peak and then you're stuck for another like hour and a half?
I'd say that's a decent assessment. And but like I said, everything in the movie is well done. It's a very well crafted film. It's just not fun, and I don't see myself going back to it very much. Mike, I'll be interested to see if your boys are invested, or even if you would even let them see it, because I would have serious reservations. I mean, my daughter watches R-rated movies, and I probably wouldn't let her watch this. So, your mileage may vary, but, the Batman, I would probably give it a B-. So, I really like Robert Pattinson. I like the cast a lot. Everybody does a great job. It's just, hey, you want to go and sit for 3 hours and have your balls kicked in? Well, hey, here you go. But I don't know. That's what I think. I did see it in Dolby Cinema, which was, I mean, that really packed a punch because Robert Pattinson's really beating the crap out of some people, and you felt every punch. It was pretty cool. But I don't say I don't recommend it, but I probably won't be watching it in the theater again.
Gotcha.
So,
well, I hope to catch it soon, and I'd like to revisit the whole Batman franchise at some
I
point.
think that's a
on
good
the
idea.
podcast here.
It is better than Batman and Robin. So
Mike's trip to the porn store with Granny is probably better than the Batman and Robin.
yeah, that's probably true. So
Maybe he's got as many nipples too. I don't know.
yeah.
But,
Well, I do have one more update before we move on to our main
Update.
topic. It's a short Conan update.
Crush your enemies.
I reevaluated and did an inventory on what I have. I officially have 1/3 of Marvel's original Conan line now.
Nice. Congratulations.
And speaking again, a Star Wars comic update.
You found something.
I did snag a copy, first printing of Star Wars #1, and I'm very happy with it. It's in very good shape. And
Is yours signed by David Prowse?
it is not, no.
Oh, okay.
But it is a first printing, which I'm happy to have. First printings are sometimes hard to come by because there were so many reprints and second printings of this particular comic out there. But it is a first printing, newsstand edition, so I'm very happy.
Cool.
And
Nice.
my journey will continue. And I'll keep you all posted because I know you're riveted.
I appreciate that.
Oh.
Should we get to the story?
Oh, man.
Podcasting in the 25th century.
Okay, so yeah, I can't believe you found this DVD. It really is amazing. So in 2007, Jared and I and Mike, we were all working at the same company in Florida.
No, Mike was gone by then.
Was
Yeah.
he in 2007? Okay, so it was just Jared and I. So there was a guy we worked with.
Does he still work there? Just out of curiosity.
He does not. Not for a long time.
Let's call him Scotty for the purposes of this podcast.
Well, I always remember this guy because he hit on my future wife, sort of.
He hit on everything that
But it
moved.
was clear that we were getting involved. I'll never forget what happened was I walked backstage, and I guess he had gone to the gas station to get her a coffee or something. So I'll never forget. I opened the door to walk back there to go talk to her, and he was handing her the coffee or something, and he turned and looked at me, and his eyes got real big. And I was like, "What's going on here?" Sorry, go ahead.
You probably were towering over him. Most people towered over this gentleman.
Yes.
But Scotty was an optimistic lad, and at the time, Ninja Warrior was on television.
Is it still
And,
on?
It's been revisited. It's
Okay.
back.
Okay.
It's back. And it's funny. My kids watch like the American Ninja for kids.
Okay.
So so it's back. And so anyways, this show he comes to. I don't know if it was you or me or both at the same time, but he came to us and said, "I want you guys to help me film an audition tape for
American Ninja Warrior.
American Ninja Warrior."
Yeah.
And I don't know why we agreed to it or why we thought that was a good idea.
Did he offer you money? That's usually a
I
good
think
incentive.
I think he fed us. I don't know.
I think we
He bought us smoothies. That's what I remember. He bought us smoothies. And so for people who don't know, American Ninja Warrior is basically it's individuals who try to take on this unbeatable obstacle course. And like hardly anyone ever finishes in it. And if you do, it's like a big deal. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of show he was trying to get on.
So we agreed to do this. And so one day we all met up. So we're like, okay, so you tell us where you want to go and we'll meet you there. So Jared and I hop in the car together and meet Scotty at the first stop was it the elementary school?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so
No, we met him at his house. And then and because we filmed him punching on a punching bag.
Was that the interview first?
No, we did the interview later.
Oh God, we went back to his house. All right, so that's right. So he's punching. His first off, his backyard looks like it's like a hillbilly's backyard. It's like a little off an alleyway in the middle of town.
Yeah, and there was like this shed that no one had been in like 20 years with weeds all around it.
Like there's an old motorcycle rotting in the yard. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it was.
So anyways, the first thing we do is we film him punching a punching bag, and so we're like, well, okay, we'll go with it. So he's like, all right, come with me, guys. It's just down the street, and I'll do some obstacles and get them on camera. So okay, that makes sense. So we go to an elementary school. This is a weekday, mind you.
So he's on a playground.
Oh, dude. Oh,
So now listen.
wait.
So it is summer. Okay, so it's summertime. So there's no school, but there are camps going on.
Yes.
So
Wait, so there's kids there.
Yes.
hold on. So he's on the playground, and he's now remember this is an elementary school. This isn't like a high school or any kind of like. This is an elementary school.
Yes.
And the monkey bars are only about 5 feet off the ground at most. So he's doing the monkey bars, and we're like,
So he's
Jared
got
and I
to obviously has his legs folded up so they don't drag.
a little bit. And, yeah, I'll just say a little bit, but Jared and I we're like kind of looking at each other, and now literally just off to our left, out of frame of camera, are probably 75 kids with camp counselors. And they're literally in like the field right next to us as he's doing this with his shirt off.
I know, and I start to get really uncomfortable.
The worst part is Jared and I filming this.
I know it.
See, because I'm like, for him, he's in it to win it. Whereas like people are watching us going, what are they doing?
So people
filming him?
were actually watching.
Well, we could see them. They were stop what they're doing, and we're sort of like, what are those guys up to?
So he does the monkey bars, and it's only like maybe a 7-foot long monkey bar like run. So it's not like he did like 30 feet of monkey bars. He did like, a 7-foot monkey bar.
You can watch these videos, Mike. They're all available to you.
And he then goes to the softball backstop
Oh,
and climbs it halfway up.
yeah, he climbs it.
The fence.
Not even the whole way.
The fence,
just
yeah.
the fence halfway up.
So
And-
what kind of look does he have on his face while he's doing
Well,
this? Like, is it grim determination?
Of course,
or
we're shooting him from a very low angle, so we're always underneath him shooting up, so he looks, really imposing.
I'm huge.
Yes.
So, and what were you guys? Were you trying to not laugh? Or
Yes.
were you just like so uncomfortable? You were just like,
I will say it was more uncomfortable because of where we were.
Yeah. And
Because I was just trying to focus on getting it done quick.
And either me or you actually told him at the elementary school, like, "Hey, dude, we need to get out of here because they're going to call the cops." And he's like, so I don't know who suggested it, but we did leave, and then we went to another school.
So his high school was just down the road from this. Now it's summertime. So we go to the high school where he wants to go to the track, the football field, and he wants to run up and down the bleachers. So we got that. And then he's like, hey, come on with it. Come with me.
Oh,
Come with me."
okay. So just to paint a picture, like there's nobody there. The gate is unlocked, so we just go in. And, we're definitely not supposed to be there.
No.
And so we're on the bleachers, and there was a janitor on the bleachers going, "What are you guys doing?" And I said, we're just shooting some stuff for a reality show. And he's like, "Oh, okay."
He runs the bleachers. Now, at some point, didn't we get on the back of like
No,
his car?
no, this was the end. That's the last thing we do. And
That was okay.
That's
so
it's very
so we-
hilarious. But
so we get
before
off the
that
bleachers.
happens, Scotty just
Right, we
walks into the weight room.
So
which is
it's the
underneath the
open,
bleachers.
cut through where he goes to the locker rooms and there's a weight room in there. Now there are high school kids that are big football players
Yes.
in the summertime working out in this weight room in the middle of a Florida summer with no air
my
conditioning on or
gosh.
anything. And he goes in there and he rips his shirt off.
oh my gosh.
And me and
And
Matt
Jared and I are
there.
walking with a camera. And we're looking at each other like, Are you kidding
And
me?
me and Matt are just recording him.
It's so awkward. It's so
as he
bad.
just starts, loading up the weight bar. And
all these like 16-year-old like kids are in there lifting, and they're all like looking over.
We
us,
literally have roamed in off the street, and we just went in there and did this.
So there's no indication he has made any sort of pre-arrangement.
Oh no,
with anyone.
no, he hasn't.
No.
That's confirmed.
Absolutely not. So we're in there, and he's like, he picks up a bar, and he starts like, he does like 2 curls, and then gets on the bench and starts. It's really, really embarrassing.
It's and what's worse, me and Matt are standing there with video cameras trying to cover the action.
And he has no shirt on, and like the weight, and it's like, so finally, was it the janitor got us in there?
The
or
janitor
outside?
came in and was like, "Hey, you guys, you can't be here doing this." He's like, "I don't know what this is, but you guys got to leave."
But Scotty was arguing with him to stay, and
What?
And Jared and I were like, "Okay, no, you're right. You're
What
right."
was he saying? What was his case that he was
just
making?
like he's like, "No, we're almost done. I need to do a few more things." And he like jumped up on the wall and tried to do like a wall like scale like side to side, and we're like, "Oh no, hey, Scotty."
Are you still
Come on.
recording this?
No,
Did you get any?
no, not-
You didn't
no,
get
we
any
stopped.
of the discussion.
We're saying,
with the
Scotty, come on,
janitor?
buddy.
No, because they
It's time
told
to
us
go.
to stop recording, and
It was awkward. Kids had stopped working out.
so
There's some very. I mean, I'm talking about some of these large football playing high school kids were bigger than we were, but so we're like, we finally got them out,
So-
and we're like, all right, let's
yeah,
get
yeah,
out of this.
we
place.
have to leave. But Scotty, in his infinite wisdom, he thinks, okay, there's one more shot I think we can get real quick.
No one's gonna care if we do this. Mike.
Okay, so around the football field, obviously, is a track. It's a 1/4-mile track, standard for most high schools. So Scotty drives his truck up onto the track.
On the track.
On the track. And,
On the
and
track.
He says, Matt, you drive. Jared, you sit in the bed and record me running behind the
my
truck.
gosh.
And this is after they've told us to get lost.
Like a Rocky scene, like
Yes.
he's running and
So that
he's
he
not
wants
looking
you
at
to
the camera. He's trying to do like a.
It's like it's like a Steadicam shot of him running, but
Yeah, but he's pretending the camera's not there. That's the best part.
yeah, it's so he's just running, and I'm in the truck bed, and Matt's
It's like a candid shot.
yeah, and Matt's driving, and Matt's
on the track.
and well, yes, on the track.
on the track.
We've got his
So the track was big enough to hold
and
the truck.
Yeah.
It
was a small pickup truck.
And Scotty, so I'm in the bed of the truck with the camera, and like I said, they've already told us to get out of there. So of course, what we do is we drive the truck onto the track and start doing laps.
Makes perfect sense.
So at one point, Matt he really hits the accelerator and sort of leaves poor Scotty in the dust. And at some point, we see people like starting to gather on the bleachers, and Matt's like, "Dude, get in the truck. We got to get out of here." So
We're just doing laps in a 1/4-mile track.
yes,
It's
we're driving his truck on the private property of a high school track,
and people are watching.
and they're starting to gather, and I was like, "They're going to call the police."
and rightly so.
They've already told us to leave, and we said, no, we're going to drive some laps. So,
Oh
we,
my gosh.
so
We finally get him in the truck, and we're like, we're getting out.
we're
of here.
leaving now.
We're leaving. So we go to downtown on the waterfront.
Yes. Downtown
St. Pete.
St. Pete.
Yeah, which is gorgeous. It's a nice, great
it is
path to run
There's
on.
like
Nice
a little
area.
seawall there. It's very pleasant, and it's right next to the ocean. And so we get some shots of him climbing trees. My God, he tries to climb a palm tree or something.
That's right.
Oh.
And he was running. We just got shots of him running, like in a very kind of awkward, puffed up run, I might say. You'll see when you watch the videos, Mike. But Scotty had this puffed up run, and And every time we took the shot, it's like his chest is all puffed out and he's running all kinds.
And
funny.
I think actually in some of the videos, you could start to hear me and Matt like starting to grouse about this. Like, okay, this is like hour 6. And it's hotter than crap. What are we doing?
He was unbelievably hot.
So after we did this stuff at the waterfront, we
Now, question: were people staring?
Not so much.
No, there wasn't
Yeah,
a whole lot of people out. But
Okay.
But it was at this point where, just like Jared said, we were both questioning what we were doing with our day.
because we just wasted the day.
And we're like, it's hot. What the heck are we doing? So something just came to me, by the way. I'll get to it later. But after this, we get in the car, and that's when he buys us smoothies,
That's
which is great.
for our troubles.
And we go back to his house where where he does the interview.
Oh,
And-
the interview.
Now, look, we all come from production. We all understand the necessities of good sound and lighting, and this had none of it. We were just like, we didn't care.
We did have a mic.
just were-
We did have a mic set up.
We had.
I don't know if it was just a
mic.
prop.
Whose camera
it was a prop.
was it?
Actually, me and Matt both had cameras with us because
Yeah.
this footage. There's footage of us. I think there's a couple of shots of me like showing Matt shooting footage.
So you're right. That's right. So, but we didn't set up any lights. He's sitting in like a dark room with the shades drawn behind him, and he's just telling us random stories about how he wants to climb Mount Medora or Fujidora, whatever it's called. And so he had a fake microphone set up, and he starts he's holding a baseball bat for half of the
for
half the time,
reasons unknown.
and then he starts playing the guitar, and it was very strange. So, long story short, the day it's a long day, okay? And I remember this had to be put in the mailbox by the next day, okay? It had to be stamped in the mail by the next day. So the day's over, and we're going to we gave him the media, didn't we? Is that what we did?
Yes.
Or so basically, he's like, I need you guys to edit this for me.
Yeah, and we're like,
Yeah. I'm like, are you out of your mind? I said, I'll tell you what, you can edit this and put it together any way you want. And off it goes.
and he's like, well, what do I do? And I was like, dude, what? Do you not have any sort of non-linear editor on your computer? And he's like, I think I got Windows Movie Maker. And I was like, well, dude, you're gonna have to use that because me and Matt are not editing this.
Yeah, that's right.
After we're there for like this, we're going on hour number 10, and he's laying this on us. Like, so you guys can edit this by tomorrow? And we're like, what? Are you crazy?
Well, I mean, my gosh, he got you a smoothie.
It just was. I mean, I literally thought, we were going to shoot this stuff, and I think it was my understanding that he had that he was going to edit it himself, or he had an editor lined up. But there was no mention until that moment that, okay, so you guys can have this by tomorrow. Like, what? And we had a lot of footage.
Yeah, it was hours. It was a good. I think on media, it was probably. What do you think? 2 straight hours of footage.
Well,
to go
yeah,
through?
and just of him
if not
climbing branches and fences and all kinds of other bull crap.
Oh man, sweating, and it was like I remember being in that locker room, the weight room, with the camera starting to fog up because it was so humid and
Oh
hot
my
in there.
gosh.
Yes,
It was such an event.
it just was amazing, and
But the fact that you found that raw footage, that you had that DVD, is just absolutely amazing.
as soon as I saw it, I thought this is a gold mine because I've often wondered what happened to that stuff.
Okay, so to go back, did he submit it?
He did.
I don't know. I don't know who edited it, and I never.
Oh no! Oh, the best part. The best part.
What?
The best part. I'm sorry.
What happened?
So he edits it. He submits it, and then he reads the submission rules after he submits it. The whole time that he was doing, like, there's certain things where he had a shirt off, and most of the time he had a shirt on. But he was wearing a big logo shirt. It could have been like a Nike shirt or an Adidas. I don't know what it was. But whatever it was, it specifically said you cannot have any logos on your body when you record these audition tapes, because they will use, if you make the show, some of this.
They'll use it in the show.
In the pre-roll.
Oh, he was wearing a Florida Gators shirt. That's why.
Oh.
That's what was.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
So Scotty had, for most of the shooting, like a logo shirt on. And so it couldn't be used anyway. So he went through all that work, edited it, submitted it. And of course he did make the show. But, you know, it's he wasn't following the submission rules to begin with. So it was such a waste of a day. But it's a great memory.
So at the last minute, it sounds like something he saw and decided to do, like, at the last minute. Like, he heard about it.
This definitely, he had not planned any of this.
No, he didn't think this through.
Because just by virtue of how we were shooting this thing all day, it was all off the cuff. Okay, well, hey, we got kicked out of this elementary school. Why don't we go to my high school and see if we can do something? Like,
oh, it's so funny.
I think he had pictures in his head of what he was trying to do, but just not really any way of practically executing what he wanted.
Yeah. So, but he went on to have his own career doing whatever the hell he's doing now. And
Yes.
It made for a funny memory there. So,
Oh, man. I just wish there was some way we could...
get that audition tape. So funny.
Man.
Wow.
But, yeah, I know. Hey, I know we took a little bit of a detour from the 25th century here on this episode, but I liked the discussion. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, man.
You know, we'll try to save some face and maybe find a way to post some of these snaps on
Oh, man.
on social so you can enjoy it as well.
Yeah, we don't want to obviously upset Scotty. I mean, we're not in touch with Scotty anymore. I don't even really know where he is, but I mean, I don't want to embarrass anyone, so we got to figure out a way to share this with.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So,
but thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I know I had a good time revisiting this this thing. It's still blowing my mind away that you even found that.
man, I got to clean my house more often and see what other things I
God, I
find.
tell you what. And now you've saved it all for
Oh
posterity.
man, it's all in the cloud now. It's never going away.
It's amazing.
It's there for us for all time to enjoy.
Boy. So, well, season 5 rolling on, everybody.
Season 5, one chip challenge still coming up sometime. Just don't pressure us there, Mike.
And I'm going to drink an entire bottle of James T. Kirk.
At the same time.
On the live
Straight
stream,
bourbon whiskey.
you just show Mike getting more and more hammered while me and Matt are like on the ground
Dying.
with fire coming out of our eyes. That would be a live stream for the ages.
Oh,
for
man.
Sure. But you've got to stay tuned because that's coming up at some point, and we got some more good stuff for you before we take a little break for the summer. So, guys, we will see you next week here in the 25th century.
You know you can't live without this content. So subscribe to the Hyperspace, podcasting in the 25th century. Follow us on social media, leave us a review, and join us next time as we take you into the 25th century.